living foolishly. So many examples in Scripture help us to see that one can live wisely or one can live foolishly. I don't want you just to casually look at the words printed in 1 Kings 12. I want you to look at them critically because Rehoboam is an example of a foolish man. He is such an example of a foolish man that his foolishness did not just affect him, it affected all of Israel. Listen to me very carefully. You can be foolish and think that your foolishness is relegated to you only. I assure you, when you finish reading 1 Kings 12, you realize that the ramifications of foolish living go well beyond just you. Under Saul, Israel was united. Under David, Israel was united. Under Solomon, Israel was united. Under a foolish man by the name of Rehoboam, the kingdom split. He is the son of the wisest man in Scripture, and yet he lives so foolishly. Which means that wisdom is not always generational. It means that if you don't make it a practice to gain wisdom and insight, you can have all the right kinds of people around you who give you the right kind of counsel, who share with you their mistakes, their bad decisions, their tragedies, their errors, and still repeat the same foolish model. There were three pictures of wisdom that I wanted you to see, three pictures that I noticed through quotes. The first is by Confucius. He says, by three methods we may learn wisdom. First, by reflection, which is noblest. Second, by imitation, which is easiest. And third, by experience, which is the bitterest. Confucius seems to indicate that I can learn by experience, but if I learn by experience after I have been told, it will prove to be a bitter experience. Aldous Huxley says, experience is not what happens to you, but what you do with what happens to you. William Arthur Ward says, the pessimist complains about the wind. The optimist expects it to change. The realist adjusts the sails. Three unique, affirming, confirming pictures of wisdom in practice. What is wise living? Three things that I want you to know. Here's A. Wise living is the application of knowledge. The application of knowledge on a consistent basis aimed at desired result. It is knowledge on a what? Consistent basis aimed at what? Desired. In other words, wise people don't just let things happen. Wise people don't wait around to see what's going to be the end result. Wise people make things happen. Look at me, ladies and gentlemen. Wise people have an agenda and a strategy that is always in place and practice. So they get knowledge and they consistently apply it toward results that they need. That's wise living. Look at B. Look at B, please. Wise living is learning from experiences. Learning from experiences and having a strategy to repeat the good while eliminating the bad. That's wise living. I've learned from what has happened, and what I've learned, I've made it a part of what I do. I've adopted a strategy based on what I have learned so that I can repeat the good and eliminate the bad. What's foolish living? Foolish living is repeating the same experiences over and over and over and over again. What is wise living? Learning from them and saying that won't happen to me ever again. It's not just that, but also it's helping to create the kind of necessary experiences that you want to see replicated because they are beneficial, satisfying, and sustaining. I want the right kinds of experiences. So what do I need to do? I need to take a lesson from them. Learning from my experiences. Here's C. Growing into a life of priorities. Organized around what you value most. I heard you, Marika. Living on purpose with a purpose. Here it is. If you want to live wisely, you got to have a life of priorities. And those priorities are organized around what you value most. If you don't have a life of priorities, anything can take priority. And you will find yourself one day with your hands around things that you don't want a part of your life because you didn't have priorities. Are you thinking with me, ladies and gentlemen? There are certain things that I don't want in my life, but because I don't have a list of priorities and a strategy that shows what I value, I can find myself sometimes with my hand around things that don't help me or benefit me. I don't want to be anchored around the wrong thing when the right thing is all around me. So let's look then at 3 lessons that comes from Rehoboam's life. 3 lessons comes from Rehoboam's life. Ready for this? Well, I hope 18 to 25-year-olds are taking good notes. Here's the first one. Being promoted and being ready for promotion are 2 distinct events. Being promoted, and Rehoboam's life shows us, Cynthia, that you can get promoted and not be ready. His life also shows us that being prepared for promotion is a separate, self-driven event. If you're going to be ready for promotion, you've got to work at it. You've got to work toward it. You've got to make an investment. You've got to prepare. Your dad is the king, and if your dad is the king, you cannot spend your entire life enjoying the benefits of royalty. You've got to take some lessons to prepare yourself for what is coming, or you will ascend to the monarchy. While you have a name that's royal, you'll have a character that's at 0. He is going to be promoted because he is heir, but he is not prepared. He is not prepared. Watch what his father does. You reflect with me, please, Gathering of Champions. When his father is promoted, his father prays. His father says to the Lord, these are your people. They are hard people to manage. Lord, give me wisdom. Rehoboam never prayed that prayer. Look at me now. Come here. Look at me now. You can ride on somebody else's success so long that you think you don't have to do what they did in order to get the success. If you are going to enjoy the measure of success, you're going to have to shift from cruise control and get back in the game, and everything they did to get there, you'll have to do. Let me bring it to the road you're sitting on. You can't ride on your mama and daddy's credit the rest of your life.